Hey guys, welcome into today's video. This is going to be a brand new series on my channel. It's going to be a foundation a day for 42 days. The reason that I wanted to start this video is that I have 51 foundations in my permanent collection. It's the number 2 item, maybe number 1 right now, of makeup that I really like testing. I'm really into testing new foundations. It switches back and forth usually between blush, eyeshadow, and foundation, my 3 favorite makeup categories, probably a lot of people's favorite makeup categories. But 51 foundations is just too much for me to have in my collection. I recently did a makeup declutter, and I will link that up in the cards, where I went through my whole collection and I decluttered, breaking some of my makeup into 3 different categories: keep, declutter, and then I made up a third, which was items that I want to keep for reference, but I'm going to take out of my permanent collection and move into the closet where I keep makeup that I think is popular, relevant, things that I may want to reference in future videos, but that I don't want to use in my personal everyday life. But I did not do that with foundation. And recently I've gone through a really big skin change. In the last 8 months to a year, I have gone from really, really dry skin to very, very oily skin, and a lot of foundations that used to work for me that were more on the dewy, natural finish side just aren't working these days. So I'm grabbing and loving more matte foundations. So some of my foundations in my collection predate my skin change. So the reason for this series, I don't want to just declutter foundations based on memory. I want to retest a lot of them because some of them are pretty expensive. Some of them I may re-love, some of them I may not like or may not work for me now, and it's time to make that determination. So while I have 51 foundations in my collection, this is foundation a day for 42 days because there are 9 foundations I have already made a decision on. Some of them I'm actually testing. They haven't gone into speed reviews, but I've worn them very recently, so I know exactly how I feel about them, but I will have to move them into wherever they're going to go, keep, declutter, or in the reference pile. And then there are some that I'm testing that I already absolutely love, haven't gone into a speed reviews, and I know that I'm going to be keeping them. And then 2 of them I have already made the decision that I'm going to declutter. So welcome into day 14, you guys. Today we are testing the NARS Light Reflecting Foundation that launched last year. I was trying to do something a little bit different with my eyes today, was feeling a little bit fall, and definitely got carried away for just chilling at home. Today is a chill at home day, so it's a great day to get through my foundation a day for 42 days. I will say I may end up ditching the series just depending upon like the response. It seems like some of the videos just don't do so well, and it takes so much effort to film these. I'm kind of feeling like maybe I'll just do a final roundup while I test them privately so that I can wear it throughout the day without having to like just sit down and film these videos. I don't know, you guys let me know in the comments whether or not you kind of watch these and follow along, or whether this is something that you're still interested in me doing. Otherwise, I think I just may kind of stop doing this series altogether, but we're gonna keep it up for today. Haven't reached for this foundation that much, so let's talk about it and then I'll tell you guys what I remember about this foundation. So this foundation comes in 44 shades. It retails for $50. I have mine in the shade L4, which is Deauville. It's described as being medium buildable coverage with a natural finish that is a breathable all-day wear. It is the standard 1 fluid ounce. It has a shelf life of 24 months and it's made in the US. I honestly haven't reached for this foundation that often. This launched last year and it won Allure Best of Beauty for 2022, and everybody seemed to really be loving it. I had super dry skin most of last year, with the exception of like the end of the year. My skin started to change, my acne died down. Don't know what it was. Imagine a lot of it had to do with hormones, some of it due to skincare change, just my overall prep, my routine, my nightly routine, that sort of thing. And when I had really dry skin, this didn't work well for me. It didn't sink into my skin very well. It seemed more like full coverage. It broke apart on my face, and I never really understood why so many people loved it, because it really didn't seem to work for me. I never understood the light reflecting part of it. I thought it was a more satin matte finish. I never saw like any real natural radiance. It claims to have a natural finish. I will say it is one of my longer lasting foundations. I don't know about breathable, but definitely all day wear. It's a pretty long lasting formula. I want to say that I've tried it once since my skin has been more combo oily. And in that one time that I wore it, I liked it so much more on me than I did when I had dry skin. That seems to be the case. I never used to touch full coverage foundations. Now all I'm doing is touching full coverage foundations, because lighter coverage foundations that like aren't mattifying just don't seem to last on me, etc., etc. So I have a feeling this one is gonna end up staying because it's the kind of foundation that I reach for now. I don't believe its claims, and I don't think it works for people with dry skin. I think it works really well for people with oily skin. So that's kind of my takeaway. If you guys haven't seen one of these videos, ideally we are going to do this wear test for at least a full 8 hours to see whether or not this is something that's going to work for my combo oily skin now and whether or not it's going to stay. It's only day 14. I am so fatigued looking at all the foundations that I want to test. It's not just about testing them, it's also about sitting down and filming the videos for you guys to kind of take you along in my journey, because I didn't want to just start decluttering foundations that were expensive, especially when my skin changed so drastically. It's like every foundation that used to work isn't, and then every one that wasn't is. So because this one didn't work for me very well at all with dry skin, I'm pretty sure it's going to end up staying, but we shall see. I'm having trouble with this pump. I feel like I've heard other people say they've had trouble. I'm going to take that much for one side of the face. Maybe not even that much. Yeah, probably not that much. And I am going to use one side of the brush, one side of the sponge. That's how I've been applying it in all of these videos. That's more medium coverage, and I really didn't take that much. I still have quite a bit left over, so I feel like you can really adjust it. I almost want to say I want to add a little bit more right here. Sure, baby. Can I help you?
Yeah.
I would almost say this is the most like natural looking finish that I feel like this foundation has ever given me. This is derived of like 70% skincare ingredients. Some of the call outs are biometric oat, which is supposed to visibly improve clarity by reducing the appearance of redness while helping to soothe and calm the look of skin. Japanese lily turf, supposed to immediately strengthen the skin's barrier and help with moisture. Peptides and milk thistle help reduce the negative effect of blue light and other environmental stressors. My son is sick today and home with a fever, so that's why this is a good wear test. I want to mention that this does have mica in it, so if that irritates you guys probably wouldn't like this if mica is an irritant for you. It is not an it's not an irritant for me. I'm gonna get super red laughing, so the foundation's gonna lose its effectiveness. We just bought like 3 different types of ice creams and popsicles because I think his throat is sore. And he brought these up and said, Mom, you wanna eat with me? So now that's what he's in the background doing. All right, now let's apply the right side of the sponge. Absolutely shenanigans today. So this is a lot less coverage. I feel like with the side with the sponge, it's not always the case, but you can definitely see it. I want to try and kind of even it out a little bit. I can definitely see it's less coverage like on my nose. I mean, I'm basically just looking for freckles. I used to think less is more with this. Now I feel like my skin type can definitely handle more coverage with this. And now I see the radiant finish where I've never really seen that with this before, unless I'm just remembering incorrectly, which is why I like to do these wear tests, because honestly, I am always wrong in how I think something performs simply based on memory alone. And that's why I don't want to declutter foundations. One, for the simple fact that my skin has changed and I have no idea what's going to work for me now and what isn't. I feel like I'm retesting all of these for the very first time. It feels like that way with a lot of them. And especially because this one retails for $50 and because memory is just simply not reliable. Now I see this natural radiant finish and I feel like it's smoothed out my skin so much. And by the way, I feel like this shade all on its own is a little bit dark, especially on my hand, but then when I get it to my complexion, I think it actually matches pretty nicely. Those are really first impressions after applying it. So I'm gonna go and finish the rest of my makeup. We'll come back, we'll look at it one last time, and then we'll do the wear test. My complexion just looks super duper smooth. And I feel like the amount of coverage that I used was perfect for my skin type. I feel like it sunk in really well. I'm just loving the way the complexion is currently looking. So yeah, I don't wanna jinx myself, but I'm pretty sure this is gonna end up being a tremendous foundation for my skin type now. I wanna do a natural light check-in for you guys as much as I can. It has been so dark and so gloomy outside, so we'll see what natural light I can pick up, and then I do it again at 4 hours. I'll see you guys back here in this chair at least the 8-hour mark. Could be a little bit longer, just depends on how my day goes. Right now, my decision would be to keep this foundation just simply based on the way it's looking. It's always gonna depend on like how it wears throughout the day. Like the 4-hour mark usually tells me whether or not like, oh yeah, this is the one. This one's gonna stay. But I'll see you guys shortly. Welcome back, you guys. It is 7:30 in the evening. So it's been 9 hours since I put the foundation on. Let me just jump right into showing you guys what it looked like in natural light. It was pretty good. Skin looked pretty smooth. Kind of the same thing up here in these lights. And then let me show you guys what it looked like at 4 hours. It still looked pretty fresh. Still pretty put together. It was coming off a little bit on my nose. It's so much better than so many other wear tests that I've done thus far in days 1 through 13. And I'm starting to see the ones that really have longevity, and I think this one is one that really just has longevity. And I more so think that the 24-hour hydration, or just the long hydration that this foundation says that it has, I feel like it works better on someone with oily skin. Again, I tell you guys, when I had super dry skin, it wasn't hydrating. It just looked like I was wearing a lot of makeup when I wore this. So I absolutely do not recommend this foundation to people with dry skin. I think it's honestly better combo to oily skin. But I am going to keep this foundation. I think it looks beautiful on me now. I think this performs very similarly to a lot of the matte or luminous matte foundations that I'm grabbing for these days. For example, the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish is one that I love. The YSL Luminous Matte, the Prada Reveal foundation, which I think is like a luminous matte as well, something along those lines. They're all relatively similar to like medium full coverage with like a luminous matte finish. I think that's what this is. I think maybe this one has a little bit more kind of like luminosity than maybe some of the other ones, but just so very slightly. I just really enjoyed the wear test today. This makes Declutter 6 and Keep 8. I've clearly pushed the Keep category more than I wanted to at this point. I was hoping to kind of split it down the middle, but there's plenty more foundations to go. There's probably about half that I would keep up there, I think, if memory serves correctly, which you guys know is totally not reliable. So that's the final tally on day 14. The only one that I would take back so far that I have done that I think that I would declutter just based on the wear test alone is probably, no, I take that back, there's two. I'm probably gonna end up letting the Pat McGrath Blind Foundation go, and probably the Makeup by Mario Surreal Skin. I feel like those two I may end up decluttering. I just think the Makeup by Mario one didn't have like the best longevity on me. And even though I think it was nice, it was like day 8 and I had decluttered a ton up until that point. So now I kind of feel like I'm definitely keeping more than I'm letting go. So those two I think we may reconsider at the end. I probably will end up letting them go. Pat McGrath is really good for very light coverage. I know I'm getting off on a tangent on some of the previous days, but I thought I would throw it in there and just kind of talk it through with you guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. NARS Light Reflecting Foundation gets to stay in the collection. As always, if you guys are not currently subscribed, I would love to see you subscribe so you can stick around for days 15 through 42 of foundation a day for 42 days. I'm out of here, and I hope to catch you all on my next one. Bye guys.